I'm tired of buying worm castings. I don't want to buy it anymore. I want to make my own. They are kind of pricey. Okay guys, how are you? Good to see you again and again and again. So as you can see below, this is a video on vermicomposting. I've been using worm castings to fertilize my garden and to amend my soil for my garden. And it has done wonderful works for me in my garden. It is just really great at giving you that extra growth that you are looking for, and it makes all the difference. So I'm here today to show you how to set up a system where you can make your own. This is Vermicomposting's worm casting. There'll be a link in the description if you just don't want to make your own, if you just want to get to fertilizing your garden and amending your soil. But we're going to make our own. I remember one of my girlfriends who I was sharing pictures of my garden with, she just was like, you know, we started at the same time. I don't understand. You've got to be cheating. What's the cheat? There's some kind of way you're cheating. What is cheating in gardening? And I said, I do fertilize my garden once a week, and I use worm castings. And so she started using the worm castings as well to fertilize. And basically, worm castings, it's black powder. It's basically the poop from worms. It's what worms poop out. So to make worm castings, what we're going to do is I have some rehydrated cocoa coir here. I'll try to overlay a photo so you can see what's inside of this bucket. I have just some kitchen scraps, so that's like spinach scraps and so a banana peel. I have my worms that I ordered from Uncle Jim's Worm Farm here. This is about 750 worms. Okay, so, and you're going to also need some paper scraps. And you're going to need a bin. This is I want to say this is 20 gallons. This is a 20-gallon bin. And my little boy was ever so kind to drill the 8-inch holes all around the whole perimeter of this bin. And you'll also need some potting mix to add some grit to that. Okay, so before we get into how we're going to do this vermicomposting bin, I'm just going to show you really quickly how to rehydrate some coconut coir. This is pretty much a coconut coir pith brick. This is a 10-pound brick, and this is going to be used for some of the bedding in my vermicomposting bin. So you would take it and get pretty much a big bowl that it could kind of fit into. I have an old pizza rack here, and I'm going to set my brick up top. I only need about 5 pounds of it. This is a 10-pound brick, as I said, and you're just going to keep pouring water. I had to fill this. This is about 8 cups of water. I had to refill it about, I want to say 5 times before I could crumble this into my bin. So first you want to drill all your holes into your bin like I showed you here, and let's get this thing going. So I'm just going to dump all of the cocoa coir into this bin to start with. Okay, so here we go. We're going to dump all of that in there. This is, like I said, about 5 pounds of coconut coir, and we're going to spread it around a bit. Next, I'm going to take my paper shavings and I'm going to sprinkle a good amount on top of this cocoa coir because the worms are going to eat some of this as well, and it is going to help to control the moisture in the bin, just to give them a good versatile environment. So after you get these in, you want to give it a good mix. And then we are going to start adding some potting mix to this mixture. There's no particular measurements. I'm just kind of guesstimating here. So we add the potting mix to add some grit to the worm's diet. And I'm going to add some worm castings on top just to give them some familiar territory. So After this, we are going to give it another mixing, and then we are ready for our worms. So these worms I got from Uncle Jim's Worm Farm. There will be a link in the description if you are interested. These are red wiggler worms. I have about 750 worms here, and they are very good at composting and for composting in your garden. So you just kind of want to put them in there. They'll start climbing down into the bottom because they can't stand the light. But if you want to help them out, you can throw some of your bedding on top of them to help them get settled in. And the way you are going to feed your worms is you're going to make a hole in the other side of the bin, and you're going to pour your kitchen scraps into the hole and bury them. Now, things to not put in this worm bin for the worms to eat is citrus fruits and peels. No citrus fruits and peels, no onions and things like that, no hot peppers. You can do green and red peppers, regular like bell peppers and apple cores and carrot shreds from the juicer I put in here, but that's about it. So next we want to wet this bin up because worms breathe through their skin and they require water. So they need a good amount of dampness in here. I'm gonna, after this, take this to the kitchen sink and just spray it up with a good amount of water. I want to say I put about maybe 4 cups of water, maybe a little more. You just want to be able to squeeze a bit of it in your hand and have a dripping of water coming out to give you what kind of consistency that this bedding should be, just to give you an idea. After this, we are going to close the bin, label it up, and we got ourselves a composting bin. And the next time I feed them, I will feed them on the opposite end. I'll make a hole on the other side and drop my kitchen scraps on that side and bury them. So each time I feed them, I would feed them on opposite sides. The worms eat about their body weight a day in food. Now it'll take a couple of weeks, about a month or so. I would give it up to 2 months for these worms to process this into some active worm castings, and then we can move on from there. So basically, you want to label your bin so no one does anything crazy with it, and we are done. May the Most High bless you, keep you, cause his face to shine upon you, and give you peace. Peace.